Right, so I'm gonna go for it and just start, all right? So you put your flour in a big bowl, baking powder, sea salt, the cardamom. So I've cut the butter. The butter should be nice and cold. So I just whisked together all the dry ingredients, just get them nice and mixed up, but you don't have to sift them. It's totally unnecessary. And then we're gonna add all these big chunks of delicious butter, unsalted. So that's another thing. Always use unsalted butter in your baking because you don't know how much salt is in salted butter, and this way you can control it. You could also do it in a mixer, but with such a small recipe, it's kind of a nice thing to do. Just get in there with your hands. So, okay. Okay, so that's really good. So now we just add the milk. So I've weighed out 300 ml of cold milk, which I just pour right in there. So I'm a big believer in using your hands when you cook. And I use a fork a bit, but then at the end I always like to bring it together with my hands. You can work quickly and efficiently like that. Okay, so see how it's really nicely just kind of coming together here. And you might think it looks really undermixed, but that's, again, really what we're going for here. Because that'll keep the dough nice and light. But it's wet enough that it's just starting to come together. So we've got that. We'll just take the rest out here. Lovely. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll like a rectangle or oblong shape here. And let's put a little bit more. And then we're going to fill it with butter, lots of butter. I like butter. And cinnamon sugar. And then we'll make the rolls. So this is going to happen. This is totally fine. It kind of peels up in these like sheets. Don't worry about that. You can just add a little more flour. So now we're going to do, just kind of spread a fair amount of butter on here, actually. Pre-melted butter. So use a little pastry brush just to spread it around. And this basically kind of melts into the cinnamon sugar mixture that we're going to put in the middle and gives it that lovely, what we call sticky buns also. In the US, we call them sticky buns. So it gives it that stickiness, which is so good. Okay, so then here I've got brown sugar, soft brown sugar. So I'm just mixing the cinnamon in with the brown sugar a bit and breaking up some of the lumps. And then you just sprinkle it on like that. Great. So now what we do is we just sort of roll up. So, and you can kind of like pull it towards you a little bit, which makes it a tighter roll, which is always good. I'm going to add a little bit more flour just to this as I go. And I want to get 12 pieces out of this. So I cut it in half, and then I cut each half in half, just to make it easier, make them more even. I like everything to be kind of nice and symmetrical with sizes. And so then you could do these into 3. So just real quick, I always like to use melted butter with a pastry brush rather than just a hard lump of butter. I think it's faster and you can get right into the little corners more easily, so it's nice. So what I would normally do is, I can use that one. I would take them and then you would peel back a little bit of the side, the end, and you just wrap it around to the bottom of the bun, and it acts like a little kind of a little seal on the bottom, so all the delicious sugar doesn't fall out into the pan. But in 40-degree leather. It doesn't work as well. So what I am gonna do is I'm gonna steal from the end pieces, which don't have very much cinnamon in them, and I'm gonna use a little chunk of that. So we'll get 10 instead of 12. And then you just use the back of the palm of your hand to tap it in there. So that's really nice. I've got some castor sugar here, and what I like to do, just because there isn't enough sugar in there already, is make them sparkle. So it's really nice for them to have a nice finish. They look delicious, but they look a bit, unfinished, I think. Just turn it upside down into a bowl of sugar, and then they look so much prettier, right? The sparkle. So. And this is good to do when they're still a bit warm. It'll stick better. It'll adhere better to the bun. The sugar will adhere better to the bun, so yeah.